He later bought the gym. He trained there for all of his Mr. Olympia wins, and it's legendary. It's known as the Hardcore Dungeon, possibly the hardest hardcore gym in the world, and you can argue that point. But it was everything I expected it to be. I was in awe when I walked in there because you could feel the intensity, all the amazing workouts, and all the things that have been done in that gym over the years by guys like Dorian and some of the other top British champions and trainers. Working out with the six-time Mr. Olympia Dorian Yates was one of the greatest experiences of my bodybuilding life. Something I dreamed about for years. I looked up to him for a long time. I followed his career. I was a big fan of his when he was Mr. Olympia. Like a lot of other people, I saw the Blood and Guts video, and he just always struck me as someone who was not only a very hard trainer, but a very intelligent trainer. Everything he does is for a reason. It's got precision, purpose. He uses good form. You know, there's nothing half-ass or random about the way that man trains. Everything is down to a science. First thing we did was leg extensions, and Dorian's a big believer in pre-exhausting, and that's something I'm not really used to. I'm used to starting off with compound movements, usually squats or sometimes a leg press. But Dorian's belief is that you should pre-exhaust the quadriceps before you bring in the other muscle groups like your hips and your glutes and your hamstrings in a compound movement. And I had never really done leg extensions first like that with the purpose of totally trashing my quads. And that's what Dorian had me do. We did a couple warm-up sets, and then there was this one all-out set. And not just a failure, but beyond failure. He had me doing forced reps. He's pushing down and giving me forced negatives. And I can't recall the last time I've ever put that kind of effort into something like leg extensions. You think of it as a warm-up exercise or an isolation exercise. But when you got Dorian standing in front of you barking at you, it turns into a lot more of an exercise in intensity than you would ever imagine it could be.
7, good. Easy, come on. 9, hold it down. 10, squeeze. 11, and again. Oh, 3 more. 13, hold it up. 14, 1 more. Squeeze up. Go away. 1 more.
So I was pretty wobbly by the time I got up from that one work set. You don't think one set can possibly be that taxing on something like a leg extension, but I'll tell you, when you got Dorian putting you through a set of heavy leg extensions and taking you beyond failure, it is intense, and it does take a lot out of you. From leg extensions, we proceeded to the leg press, and same thing. He does have me do 2 warm-up sets, which were no big deal. He doesn't believe in going to failure on your warm-up sets, so that's why he doesn't count those as sets. Only the one all-out set is really counted as a set. So we put 5 plates on. He had me do 12 reps, which was pretty easy. 7 plates on for another 12 reps, and that was starting to get a little more difficult. And then he had me rest a minute or so, and then it was all out with just 9 plates on there, which, under normal circumstances, starting off, I'm sure would not have been that difficult. But after the leg extensions had pre-exhausted my quads, it was brutal. And I think it was 12 reps, and he had me doing 2 or 3 forced reps. And again, I train either by myself most of the time or with my wife, so forced reps and leg presses just rarely happens, never happens, I should say. So taking leg presses to that point was something new to me, too. It was something I haven't done in many years.
Let's go. Still got one on. Still got one. Come on, you got it.
So by the time I stood up from the leg press, it was, again, I was shaky and wobbly, and my legs were already feeling like quads were close to done at that point. Simple gym hack squat. I don't know what the manufacturer was. It was a pretty old, rickety contraption, and it was pretty heavy, I must say. I think we did 1 warm-up set. Yeah, 1 warm-up set, and then 1 all-out work set. And, that was really all we had to do for quads. And we were done with that because, again, we took it past the point of failure, did forced reps. when we were done with that, and this has been, I think, maybe not even 20 minutes had gone by since the workout had started, but there was just no way I wanted to or needed to do any more for quads. And that's one thing I was really getting an impression of as I went on in this workout with Dorian, is how much work you can actually accomplish in a shorter time period than you think if you're really putting out 100% effort and not doing extraneous sets that really aren't doing anything to further stimulate growth. They're just taking away from your recovery ability. So Dorian let me have a couple minutes. I think I took like 3 or 4 minutes, walked around, stood under the air conditioner. No, there was no air conditioning unit. What am I saying? Stood by the little air vent, which brought in the putrid air from the alley outside with all the garbage and everything. And then, we started off with lying leg curls, and that was 2 warm-ups and 1 all-out work set. Something like 8 or 9 reps and a couple forced reps, and that was all I needed for leg curls. From the leg curls, we moved on to stiff leg deadlifts, and normally rounding my back is not a problem, but I guess because I was pretty fatigued at this point, my legs were really shaky. It was tough for me to keep correct form, and Dorian was being a stickler. He wouldn't let me. He doesn't let anybody he trains use less than perfect form. He just won't stand for it. So as we went on, he kept correcting me and giving me pointers. Keep your back straight. This and that, don't let it round. And when he was happy that I'd done the correct form, we finished up with that. It was only 2 sets of that, and we were done with quads and hams at that point. I think it had been maybe 25, 30 minutes altogether since I started. Finished up with calves, and they have a calf raise at Temple Gym that goes all the way up to, I think it goes up to 1,000 pounds. Yeah, it's one of the heaviest weight stacks I've ever seen on a calf raise. You look at Dorian's calves, and the guy still has 22-inch calves, and he hasn't trained him in 10 years. You can understand why he needed that kind of weight back when he did train. Another couple warm-ups, and it was a rest-pause, 1 long rest-pause set. We had 800 pounds on there. I think I did 8 reps. He let me rest a few seconds, got a few more, rested again, and then a couple more, and then he gave me forced reps on standing calf raises. Again, training on my own or with my wife, that's something that just never happens. So I wasn't accustomed to that.
Going right up. Push. 3, 4, everything. All the way. Good. Okay, off. Walk around. 3.
From there, we just finished up with seated calf raises. It was the very end of the workout, and I was just happy that it was almost over at that point. Yeah, when we did the seated calf raises, I mentioned to Dorian that I had read years ago that the best rep range for that particular exercise was 15 to 25. I think it was Charles Poliquin or something. I had read that, and I've been following that for years and years. And my calves are okay. They're not bad, but they're not spectacular. And I told Dorian they hadn't grown in, goodness, 10, 12 years. It's been a long, long time since I put any size on them. So he told me, no, that's wrong. He says, use the same rep range as you would on anything else. Go as heavy as you can, 6 to 8 reps, maybe 10 at the highest, but this 15 to 20 reps is bullshit. It's not going to do anything for you. So I remember I went home, and after maybe 4 or 5 calf workouts where I did the seated calf raise with heavier weight and lower reps like he had told me to, I got out the tape measure and I put a ½ inch in my calves. And like I said, they had not grown in 10 years, maybe more like 15 if I'm being totally honest. So to see a change like that, and I'm 40 years old, I don't put a lot of muscle on anymore. It's a very, very slow process at this stage. So that was an exciting thing to see. Training with Dorian was an honor. It was a privilege. It was everything I had hoped it would be and more. And I feel very fortunate to have had the experience and to have been able to learn from someone as knowledgeable and experienced as Dorian, someone who's not only a great champion himself, but also knows how to train other people and how to help people without the best genetics in the world take their workouts to a higher level of intensity than what they thought was possible. I was in pain for the rest of the weekend, walking around with very, very sore legs, but it was worth it.